Om Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Are you guys able to see it? Okay.
Yes, Swami.
Got it. First question, should join. I don't know. But he'll take up the question. Anyway, he'll watch the recording. Swamiji talks about the 4 different states in human life: waking, dream, deep sleep, and self realization. Did he mean to say when you understand the first 3 states is an illusion, that is when you attain self realization? I'm confused why he calls that as an illusion.
Hariom, I don't
Yes.
know the answer, but I'm just trying to be the first person to speak. uh, and I think what I understand. So the answer to when you attain self-realization, I mean, illusion, I don't think that is true. What what I've understood about the 3 states are that this is all Maya, this is all not real. And each one of us goes through these 3 states in day-to-day life. Like I'm a waker right now, and on this e-learning call, and 2 hours back I was in dream, and that time I think today morning when I got up, I was thinking about what was a dream, and I could barely remember a few things, barring here and there about the dream. So that got over for that 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a dream. I don't think I deep sleep, but some days I sleep very deep in the sense I don't remember anything. It's a very blank sleep. So those days are those states. So the 3 states are where we live in that, and what dream and deep sleep very clearly tells us is that's an illusion because it is not true. What is difficult to reconcile is that while I'm a person and I'm, talking to you, uh, 49 years old, so on and so forth, to see that it's an illusion. So that's a little tough part to really accept that I myself is an illusion. The other 2, at least the dream and deep sleep make. And I think 4th state, which Swamiji keeps saying, is the Turiya state, which is you reach, state when, certain process, when you start negating, when you start seeing each state as not real, and then meditate and get to that state out there. So I think my answer, friends, in dream and deep sleep, we all can easily say it's an illusion. Waking, we have to come to a state. Maybe you can guide as to how to really negate that waking states. So I don't have a good answer for that. Yeah.
Other answers?
For you.
Yes, sir.
Could it be it was the fact that everything is impermanent? That is why we look at the 3 different states as an illusion. I think once when I was learning about this one, I sort of woke up in the morning and I was like, hang on, how do I know this is real? I kind of feel that I feel this is at that point, I felt this is real because I had other people to confirm that what I'm seeing is what they're seeing. If I see a tree in the road, they're seeing the same tree. So that becomes so convincing, and that's what you are born with. That's the ideology that you've been living with. So you're almost convinced that this is real. But then in your dream, like Swamiji was saying, you become another person. But then when you wake up, that person's gone. So it's also the fact that we tend to hold on to relationships and everything. We think the world is real. We think that when death happens, we are losing out on something, but it's actually just all in the mind. Yeah, like Nimish said, the fourth state is the Turiya state. Yeah, I wouldn't know what else to say.
Okay. Other additions? Arjun, you have anything to add?
Yes, Swamiji. The three different states, waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. In these three states, uh, these are three different states wherein the same personality acts differently on each and every state. So, a seeker can say that in a waking state, he's doing so and so action, and the same state when he and the same seeker, if he moves to the next uh, state like in a dream or a deep sleeper, he's not the same person who is. So three different states have three different personalities. So one cannot say that uh, it is the same person who is constant in all these three states. So that is an illusion because it is constantly changing. And the fourth state, I'm not got any idea of that. Turiya.
Okay. Mahesh, you have anything to add? Mahesh, I don't know.
No, Swami. I'm just
Okay.
now joining, Swami.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now, Prabhu brought a very difficult question to answer. So you guys have to focus and understand what the logic of it.
Yeah, it's very complex. I mean, I was trying to like keep like re-listening to what Swamiji said, and it's very tough to like digest what he said.
Yeah. So therefore, understand this. Now, the waking dream and deep sleep are three states of consciousness that we are going through every day. Right? Now, what they are saying is our problem is that we give an absolute standing or reality to the waker. Right? But what happens when you go into the dream? In the dream, the dreamer is only experiencing the dream world. So what happens when the dreamer is experiencing the dream world? If he's, for example, is going through starvation and suffering, he is actually eaten very well in the waking state and is sleeping in his nice house. But he can dream that he is going through penury, he is going starvation, there's no money for him to eat. Now, if the waker was actually going through that experience, something will tell him, right, that, oh, nothing, you just had a nice meal and you're sleeping here. So that doesn't happen. The dreamer's experience is real to the dreamer. Number one. Number two, the waker does not exist in the dream. Because if the waker was existing, he will remember that he is the waker going through this sleep and dreaming this. The deep sleep is nothingness, where everything is shut down. State of nothingness. So therefore, the waker is only present in the waking state, not in the dream and deep sleep. The dreamer is present only in the dream state, not in the waking and deep sleep. The deep sleeper is present in the deep sleep state, not in the other two states. So first thing you should understand is, so the waker is not absolute, means it's not permanently there all the time. Now, the definition of reality is something that existed in the past, exists in the present, and will continue to exist in the future. That's called real. This is the definition of reality. So something that only exists for one moment and doesn't exist later or earlier, it cannot be real. So applying this theorem, examine the waking state. Does waking state stand the test of reality? No, because it is not there in the dream and deep sleep. So the word maya or illusion, maya means ma means not that, ya means that, not that. So they're asking us, is the waking state real? Not that. Why? Because it doesn't exist in the dream and deep sleep. Is the dream state real? Not that. Because it doesn't exist in the waking and deep sleep. Same with deep sleep state. Does it mean that the waking state doesn't exist at all? Maya, not that. Why? Because it's existing for us now. So you can't call it real. You can't call it unreal. You can't call it partly real and partly unreal. Because reality and unreality, how can it coexist? So they say Maya, not that. Therefore, they are saying the waking state also doesn't stand the test of reality. It's the first thing you should understand. And the definition of Maya is not that. So it is not that. It's not real. It's not real. It's not unreal. It is not partly real and partly unreal. Then your question is, what the heaven am I going through? You are going through a state called relative reality. When you are in the state, it seems real. When you go into the dream state seems real. When you go into the deep sleep state seems real. So it's a relative reality. It is not absolute reality. This is point number 2. Point number 1, waker is not absolutely real. Point number 2, does it mean doesn't exist? No, it is relatively real. Now, what they're saying is, like Shireen said, I just want to jump in and say, oh, you should have stayed with that experience. So when you wake up, so you should understand this. If I wake up at 4 in the morning, at 3:59 recurring, I'm swearing by the dream state. Oh, this is real. What I'm going through is real. Millionth of a second later, in the waking state, I'm swearing this is real. It's so amazing. The moment you wake up, you instantly dismiss the dream and you say, this is real. That dream was just imagination. In the dream, a tiger is chasing. The fellow is running. And then it pounces on him. He gets scared. He wakes up. Wife say, what happened? Nothing. Why? Because he doesn't want to say that the dream tiger woke him up. You understand? So imagine 3:59 recurring, that seemed real. At 4 a.m., this seems real. Now, this is the most important thing you should understand. Now, what the scripture says is, if you say now that the dream world was imaginary, having woken up, you have no more reason to believe that the waking state is any more real. Why? Because this is also relatively real only. It's not absolutely real, isn't it? Because one moment earlier, the waker, if the dreamer, you told dreamer there's a waking state, he said, what is that? It's all what your imagination. There's nothing like that. Now, as a waker, you're seeing the dream as nothing. So you should suspect. They are not even saying you will be able to understand the illusory nature. You will start the suspicion. Oh my God, millionth of a second back, I was swearing by that. Millionth of a second later, I'm swearing by this, which is real. Right? One. And also, in the waking state, in the dream state, you are having, no, what is it? Nimesh is on a holiday. I think he's on a holiday. I don't know. So he tells his family, tonight we'll go to the terrace. There is a full moon. We'll have a beautiful dinner, moonlight dinner. He goes and sits with his family and is having a beautiful moonlight dinner. Where? 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 In which state?
The
In
waker
the
state.
dream. In the dream. Don't forget. It's a dream. Don't say it as a waking state. In the dream. Don't forget it. In the dream, you're sitting in the terrace. You're seeing the moon, light coming from the moon. Your wife is also saying, what a beautiful moonlight to have dinner. Children are saying there is moon, everything. Right? As a waker, what do you say? It's all imagination. What moon in the dream? Right? Now go back. In the waking, tonight, you are sitting with your wife in the terrace. Same moonlight. You're having, same moonlight means moonlight. You're having moonlight dinner. You're also seeing the moon. Wife is also seeing the moon. Children are also seeing the moon. That doesn't make the waking state real. Why? Last night in the dream, everybody was seeing the moon. Can you hear the sound?
Yes, Swami.
My knuckle is hitting the table. I'm getting pain. Even in the dream, when I hit like that, the knuckle will have pain. In the dream, I cut myself. Blood will come. In the waking state, cut myself. Blood will come. So everything seems so equal in terms of its solidity and reality. So therefore, they are saying, if you are now dismissing the dream as imagination, there is no reason for you to believe that this is any more real. That's what they say. This is the logic. So that is the last most important thing is, but you should understand that as long as the dreamer is in the dream world, the dream is real to him. That's why it's called relative reality. Similarly, for us, as long as we are in the waking state will seem real. So you should not dismiss it. In other words, in the dream, the dreams master is telling the dreamer, hey, you are just the waker sleeping in your house. Oh, so sir, you're saying everything is illusion? Yeah, everything is imagination, illusion. Then a tiger is chasing. He's saying, so sir, this tiger is also illusion? Yes, for me, not for you. Because you're still in the dream. Go, run. Go into a tree and hide. Because if the tiger mauls you, that's real in the dream. Similarly, in the waking state, as long as you are in the waking state, you have to go by the rules of the waking state. Work as though everything is real. Then your question is, for what reason they said it's illusion? Unless and until you have the suspicion that could this be not real, how will you get out of the everything that you're caught up in the waking? Therefore, they are giving this comparison. So until you reach the fourth state, which is the state of enlightenment, you will not understand the illusory nature. But being in the waking state, you can doubt. That suspicion can come. Only for that it's all. So what is illusion? Maya, not that. Simple theory. Not that. What is the not that? Is it real? Not that. It is unreal? Not that. It is partially real and real? Not that. So it's not explicable. That's what I say. If you really examine it, it's not explicable. One more theorem. Thankfully, the class is at 7 a.m. in the morning because the question is like that.
It's 8:30 here.
Yeah. For you, for us. So, do you know that if you are born in a place where there is no light, it's completely dark, you will not know that you have eyesight. Isn't it? You are born in a place completely dark and there's not even a chance of light. Will you know you have eyesight? You will not know. Isn't
No,
it?
Swami.
So, when there is light, when you are able to see, then what are you seeing? The objects of perception. So many objects you're seeing. Right? Now, how do you say you have eyesight? Because I'm able to see the objects. How are you saying the objects exist? Because you are seeing them. You are seeing them, therefore saying object is existing. Right? But how is the eye proving itself? Based on seeing the objects. So these are two interdependent entities. There should be something beyond the sense organ and the object to prove that these are existing, isn't it? How can two interdependent entities prove each other? One fellow did a crime. Two people are there. They went to the court. The other fellow, the judge is asking, who is the witness? He said, I am the witness. Will the judge agree? Hey, you two are the parties in crime. There should be a third person who has to come and prove the innocence or otherwise, isn't it? So therefore, we are saying this world is really existing based on our senses. Senses are the gateway through which your mind also experiences everything in the world. But the senses and the world are dependent entities. So you can't use the sense experience to say it is real. Another doubt. So like that, they keep on giving different things to say, just suspicion. So now I'm adding a caution. Still, Prabhu, you should go to your work in, what is it, Bank of America. Mahesh should go and handle his business. Nimesh should go and expand the investments of everybody. Do all that. That is to do with your activities, transactional purposes. This is just knowledge. That's all. Let it be in the back of the mind. Don't even spend time on it. It's just that say, oh, I thought that is so real. Now there is a doubt. That's all. So there's a famous illustration of King Janaka who dreamt one night that he was a beggar, begging in his own kingdom. He got up in the night and he said, am I that beggar who is now dreaming that I'm King Janaka, or am I King Janaka who dreamt that terrible dream as a beggar? Who's doing what? So he called all his counselors and asked them this question. They didn't even understand the question. Said, what are you talking? He said, I want an answer to this. So then they found out, they searched and found the great saint Ashtavakra. And he said, I have an answer. So he came. And when Ashtavakra came, Janaka asked the question as though the dream just went by and he woke up, that solidity was still there. The impact of that experience. To which Ashtavakra told him, you are not the waker, you are not the dreamer, you are not the deep sleeper. You are not the king, you are not the beggar, you are not the deep sleeper. You are your own self. At this moment, you have assumed the position of the waker. A little time later, when you go to sleep, you will assume the position of the dreamer. And then when you go into deep sleep, you assume the position of deep sleep. Those are not your real state. What is the real state? What you ask, the fourth state. Right? So, I'm just summarizing. One, the definition of reality thus is that something that existed in the past, exists in the present, will exist in the future. The waking state is not absolutely real. Number three, then does it mean it doesn't exist? No, it has a relative reality to it. Right? Then why is this thing given? Because when you compare the waking to the dream, it is exactly similar in terms of its solidity for you. It seems very real. So if you dismiss that to be imaginary, you don't have any reason to say this is any more real. This is the most important principle. Having known that, you should understand that as long as you are the waking state, you follow what the rules of the waking state. Waking rules means whatever is there in the waking state. When you catapult to the fourth state, then you will understand the illusory nature. Then why is it given? For you to lose for the world to lose the grip on you, thinking it is real. Therefore, it's given. Any questions? Sorry, it's a very deep subject, which is the highest that is given in philosophy.
So the moment you understand the absolute reality, that's when you attain the self-realization.
Correct. Understand means you become.
Okay.
Understanding we also have, because after learning Vedanta, now you know there's an absolute reality. No, the intellect knows. You have to become.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Swamiji, the fourth state, would you please explain a bit more?
The,
Because
the fourth
the
state
fourth,
is relative to the three states. Now we are going through the three states: waking, dream, deep sleep. Waking, dream, deep sleep. This is what we are doing, isn't it? These three states are called conditioned states. They are not the unconditioned state of reality. Condition means in the waking state, you are conditioned through this body to experience everything, isn't it? In the dream state, you are conditioned just by the thoughts, subtle body. In the deep sleep, you are conditioned by the causal body, just vasanas are there. So therefore, there's always consciousness functioning through certain things. So they are conditioned states. The fourth state is the unconditioned absolute state. In the waking state, you are saying, I am Arjun. I am is not Arjun. You should understand. Waker is Arjun. In the dream, also, the dreamer is saying, I am the dreamer. In the deep sleep, also, the deep sleeper is saying, I am the deep sleeper, if you get a chance to ask him. So the I am is continuing right through the three states. The I am is unconditioned, but when it goes through the three states, it seems conditioned, becoming the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. So when you remove the conditioning, you reach the pure unconditioned state called spiritual enlightenment, godhood, absolute divinity, whatever, different words you can use. That is called the fourth state.
but having in the waker state, dreamer and deep sleeper, uh, everyone would have experienced these three states of consciousness. But the fourth state, uh,
The fourth state only the enlightened people experience.
okay,
So
so it is like,
when you get enlightened, you'll experience the fourth state.
okay, so it is like it happens only after uh, we use our intellect.
We use the intellect to remove all our mundane desires. And when you drop everything, then you get to that state. Yes, correct. Intellect is the tool that is used. Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes, Mahesh.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask the same question. Just now you answered that now that we have an intellectual understanding of the different states, how to attain it? You said the goal is to become. So I
Correct.
just also wanted to know the
Correct.
process
Correct.
of becoming.
So the entire spiritual practices that are given is only to remove the conditioning. So now, what is the thing? Earlier, if you were going, I'm not saying you are, if you are going to work thinking buy this 555, not cigarettes, bricks, I will make a lot of money, I'll build a huge home, everything, right? Now you understand, now you have understood now already what are the thing, all these things that you are telling me already, isn't it? It's not in the money and everything. I want to keep myself engaged. So now what is happening? The selfish desires that you had earlier is now dropping, dissolving slowly. So that's what is happening. So this is the path. It's called karma yoga. It's called karma yoga. So like this, you keep on refining. I'm doing it because I can benefit so many families, and I'm active by nature. I'll do that. So you're doing that. At the level of bhakti, earlier the emotion was only directed to your own family unit. Now you should expand it to include all other families you're interested in them. That's called bhakti yoga. And then you're coming to this class listening. This is called jnana yoga. So when you do all these things, the desires at the physical, emotional, intellectual levels will slowly dissolve, the selfish desires. When it is completely dissolved, that's called the state of enlightenment. That's all. So process, you don't have to change anything. You're changing your perspective. That's all. And keep doing what you're doing for a larger cause, larger and larger cause. That's all. That's the process. Yeah. Any other questions? If not, we'll quickly move to question 2. So before
Sorry, one more thing.
yeah,
Sorry.
okay. Okay, yes, bro.
So here, like in one, like in this book, Swamiji mentions like you are possessed with desires to find your lost happiness through these equipments, which means like the moment your desires end, that's when you you realize yourself.
Correct. So you should understand one thing. Your original nature is the abode, the home of peace and happiness. Today, what we are thinking, if I get this, I'll be happy. That's a desire, right? If I get this, I'll be happy. So you're thinking by acquiring something from the world, you'll be happy. Now, what they're saying is your original state is happiness.
Right.
What is the proof? What is the proof? Anyone? What is the proof? It is there. You don't have to go to anybody to find proof. What is the proof? It is happening in your experience.
My own consciousness.
Huh? Sorry? Your own
My
consciousness.
own consciousness.
I'm talking about bliss, happiness. Consciousness, yes.
Your
Your
real
own conscious, yes.
your
Huh?
your real self is absolute peace and bliss.
How do you know? That's my question. How can, when they say, what is the reasoning they're giving for that? That's my question. So you don't have to go by faith. Oh, whatever they say should be right. Anyone?
That is my being, right?
That's your being. If you know that, where is the problem? You're saying that is my being because you have read from the scriptures. Yes, Arjun.
Sometimes we experience in our own experiences
Hmm.
when there are always we go through certain experiences, and then when certain experiences when we are I mean when we are really calm, or at that moment we experience pure bliss when we don't have any desires, or in that states we experience a glimpse of it, but we fail to catch it. We are again gone into these illusionary world. Those certain glimpses, those may be a fractions of second, or maybe a momentary thing,
Okay.
that gives us a hope.
Okay. Yes, Arjun. You had something.
There is nothing that we own.
Okay. That's ownership. Okay. See,
Right?
what is the desire saying? If I get this, I'll be happy. Which means if I get this, Nimesh's example, mango and have it, I'll be happy because Alfonso mango season, isn't it? If I go to this place, I'll be happy. If Varun becomes the first in the class, I'll be happy. This is Mahesh, the emotional level. You understand? Then if you say, if I get this knowledge, I'll be happy. So our happiness today, we are saying, if I get this object, if I contact this object, if I contact this thing, I'll be happy. That's what we are saying. When you go into dreamless sleep, deep sleep in the night, you are experiencing bliss. Because that's why you get up in the morning and say, oh, what a bliss. What a sound sleep I had, isn't it? In the state of deep sleep, was there any object you contacted? Nothing. Isn't it? No contact with anything. And that is the highest that you can face, because whenever you are disturbed, you want to sleep only. That's why even people who have mental problems, they give them medicine so that they are switched off. Isn't it? So there is a bliss that you are experiencing every night where there is no contact with any object or being. They are saying this, you're doing it because everything is shut down. If you experience this without being shut down, with pure knowledge, that's called realization.
Hmm.
So you don't have to go by their conviction. You have to understand what you say. This is point number one. Point number two, you should understand. Now we think, if I get this desire, no, if this desire is fulfilled, I'll be happy. If that desire is fulfilled, I'll be happy. Examine the desire. What is the desire? Fellow standing. I'm repeating the example of the last session because then you'll remember it. Fellow standing in the bus stop without any vehicle. It's raining, monsoon in Bombay, because he's waiting for the bus. As he's waiting for the bus, he sees a car, small car go by. He's saying, oh, if only I have a car, I'll be happy. This is. Then what happens when he sits in the bus? Whenever any car goes by, a thought comes. If I have this car, I'll be happy. If I have a car, I'll be happy. Now, what has happened? Before he got the thought that if I get the car, I'll be happy, as far as the car is concerned, he was in a happy state. Because he didn't get the thought only. He was blissful. Now he has created an agitation in his mind, saying, if I get the car, I'll be happy. If I get the car, I'll be happy. If I get the car, I'll be happy. So until he gets the car, he will not be happy. So when he gets the car, what happens? he has reached the state that he was earlier only. There's nothing new that has happened. This is what, but like Mahesh said, we don't have time. So we just go to the next. So when the car doesn't give happiness anymore, we don't go back and examine. We go to the next desire, next desire, next desire. This is the issue. So these are things that you have to think about. Any other questions?
So basically, your thoughts are exploding with desires from one desire to another desire to other desire.
Correct. This
But
thought
like,
movement itself is agitation, called agitation. Correct.
right,
So when the agitation ceases, you think it's a new condition. It is not. It's an old condition that you have reached, but you don't remember it.
right.
And the most interesting thing is, it is not the desire that gives happiness. What is giving happiness when you get the object?
It is the sense of not desiring anything. It is a state of mind which is at rest.
The absence of desire gives happiness, not the presence of desire. When the desire is there, you will be agitated. When you get the object, it is not the desire that gives giving happiness, which is what we are thinking today. It's the absence of desire that gives happiness.
Right.
So therefore, they are saying all the desires, if you are able to dissolve it through the spiritual paths, when every desire becomes absent, that's a state of enlightenment. Any other questions?
Swamiji, so if one starts to work on his desire alone, so this is going to be definitely the path of realization, isn't it?
Correct.
Only just the desire, only
Correct.
this one
But
particular
the
point.
whole problem is you can't say from today I will not desire. It's impractical. So therefore, they are saying develop a subtler desire which is for the welfare of everybody. Make it more and more larger so that your ego becomes smaller and smaller. In this process, you will evolve and reach realization. So you can't tell the mind, don't desire, because that's the nature of the mind is to run to something. Is it? See, one fellow was wanting to meditate. So he went to a master and asked the master, sir, what I should do. He said, gave him a mantra. This is what you have to do to meditate. Then as he was leaving, he said, one thing I want to tell you. He said, when you are chanting this mantra, don't think of a monkey. Now, every time he sits for meditation, thought of monkey is coming and disturbing him. You understand? So that's the mind. If you say don't do something, he'll do it. You understand? That's the mind. So you can't say from today don't desire. Stay put. Do not. So you have to dissolve it by thinking of larger and larger interests. If you're working for your company, think of the larger interest. You're serving so many families. Like that, you keep on expanding. Then it loses its selfishness. In the passage of time, it will dissolve. That's why the practices are given. Karma, Bhakti, Jnana Yogas. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, Mahesh. Unmute. Continue.
Yes, Swami. Swami, just a clarification, Swami. There are 108 Shiva Sutra techniques to overcome the mind to attain self-realization. It is generally said without a technique, the mind cannot be governed or cannot be brought to the stillness, or mind keeps on, like, as you said, has many ways to deviate. It's very complex. As you said, in Vedanta, it is through jnanam, learning and questioning the intellect, developing of intellect. Is the 108 techniques intellect also one of the technique?
It's
Or
not one of the technique. So when it comes to Vedanta, what Vedanta says is, if I educate you about the mind and what all it will do, it is worried, anxious, it has desires, it has everything. So if you know the nature of the mind, it is easier to handle the mind. Just as when you know the nature of
a
your
dog
son, you will know how to handle it. So therefore, then you will develop a technique of handling the mind which works for you, which may not work for me. So they give such a large amount of techniques because something will appeal to you, right? So you will work out a technique for yourself. So they are only saying we'll give you the theorems. The rider is different variables. Each person has their own life is completely different. So I can't tell you, Mahesh, you should do this technique. It may not inspire you. But if I tell you what all ways the mind will function, what it will run behind, everything. Now you know how, then you will use it to find out how your mind functions. The moment you understand how the mind runs around, then you know how to hold it. So that's the whole thing. So the techniques are given because they are giving some different methods for us to follow. In Vedanta, the theorem is given. The knowledge is given. With that, you work out a technique which is most suitable for you. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions? Let's move from this to such high thing to normal brass tacks. What is the difference between incentive and initiative? Should incentives be given up? How does one develop initiative at work?
Incentive is something which is externalized, just as I'm performing some action to get some reward. Just in subtler words, it is just following the fruit of action, whereas the initiative is uh, just to serve or just to uh, give, not having any attachment towards the fruit of action. And should incentives be given up? Yes, incentives should be given up. How does one develop initiative at work? Just by being being selfish to unselfish, and then being selfless.
Other answers?
I think you have explained this before.
Yeah.
So yeah, incentive is as Mahesh said, it's a reward based one. So initiative is something that you work for higher ideal. So it's kind of a selfless action, as you mentioned. How like in Vedanta Institute, they don't have they. I mean, they just do their work because they are working for some ideal cause. Um, like so, how you can give up incentive and develop initiative is like basically in work environment also you choose some kind of ideal goal and work towards that goal. Um, that helps you to give up. I mean, like right now, everything is incentivized based. Like corporate is like you do something, you get rewarded, and that's how it's going to work. But like over the long period of time, if you want to get to that initiative status, you have to work for a higher ideal. So that's how you can achieve the status.
Yeah. Yes, Mahesh.
So incentive and initiative. Initiative is something which draws within ourselves. Incentive is external factors drawing in that force. So incentive initially is good to draw the force, and slowly it should be maybe to develop towards initiative. Uh, we because everyone initially we can tune them up with an incentive, but let teach them the intellectual process, the actual core values to people, so that they become initiative.
Other answers?
Initiative at work, how to develop is teaching them these core values in life, so that they don't become self-centered, and the development of intellect. Yeah, the various means where we can develop the intellect of everybody in a group, so that they move on from incentive to initiative. Yeah.
Yes, sure.
So yeah, a lot of the things were already mentioned, like incentive was, external, and initiative is internal for the greater good. I think those of us who are studying this knowledge we want to work on our personalities. So, of course, initiatives would be way better. Should incentives, I've also written here actually, for the long term, an initiative tends to be a bigger motivator for us. It keeps us going for long term instead of short term. I think it was also mentioned. Should incentives be given up? How does one develop initiative at work? A lot of the people that, I mean, I'm not judging anyone here, but when you join into the workforce, we are all after incentives over time with knowledge and wisdom. Then people can see through at how initiatives can help. So I think you can't stop it straight away, but over time, we need to start somewhere. And I think find ways of how it connects to people and on an individual level. For example, pollution, the air we breathe. If we are doing things for that, then over time you get to swap from incentive to initiative. So find that direct link to as many individuals as possible. Takes time, but should start.
Nimesh, author of the book. I don't know whether you introduce incentive initiative in your book also. I don't know, but I was just thinking.
No, not there. But I think in the real life, it is what Shadin said is true because it's. When everybody's answering, I was thinking about yesterday. What happened is the maid didn't come at home, okay, and then we had to get somebody to get the cleaning of vessels. So I had to, use incentive, which was more than the normal to get the work done. Otherwise, I have to clean the vessels, okay,
That was
and
initiative. If you had cleaned by yourself.
yeah, but so I was appearing for some examinations. I didn't, take that plunge. I said, okay, let me study for exams and then let me get somebody else to do it. Now, so in the world at large, I think incentive is what works, and so it's difficult to change the world. The world operates on incentives. I think. Only thing can change is where we uh, start working or whatever we do, if we can have a bigger picture or a larger thing in place and larger objective, as that circle of thing which says the self to the family to the community, then to the city, then to the country, and then to the larger world. The more and more you can get to the outer circle in whatever you do is where you will be able to develop initiative, uh, which I have experienced in some activities where it doesn't need any motivation to get up or do something because that power, the objective is so bigger that you just go after it and you don't need any incentives for that. But it's an evolution. I don't think in the environment or in the life which we live today, it is easily given up. Only thing you can practice it at every area in your life can be in each area identify and create a bigger objective or purpose to practice initiative. But yeah, I mean, it's very difficult at work when I go to see that I'll not get hikes next year or bonuses next year or extra incentives next year. It's very difficult. Yeah. So that would be my answer.
Yes, Arjun, you have something to add?
Incentive is instant gratification. Initiative is delayed gratification.
Okay. I'm just trying to see whether I can get to that. Add a slide on what Nimesh said. There is a quote. Just trying to see whether I can get to that quote. Yeah, this is what is an ideal? Steve Jobs says, if you are working on something exciting that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. Every day when you get up, you get enthused to do that. So this is called the initiative. It is coming from inside. It pushes you to do things. You don't do it because, oh, this person says, that person says, or even the company. You are so enthused to do it that you're doing it. That when you do that, that's when there is that pride at work. You get that satisfaction that you have done so many things. So even here, the Martin Luther King says this: if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as a Michelangelo painted, or a Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great sweeper who did his job well. So this only comes when you have initiative to work. So in other words, initiative is driven by an ideal. Ideal means an interest that is far superior to your selfish interest. Incentive is a selfish motive. See, when the selfish motive is there, you lose the enjoyment very quickly. That is the reason why when there is an increment that you get, within 3-4 months, the first increment that day, you were very happy. After 3-4 months, you want another increment. So it is always that case. So incentive is, in Swamiji's words, incentive is inorganic, initiative is organic. Inorganic in the sense you have multivitamins and everything to pump up. Even the fertilizer, the fruit, which is a small tomato in India, when you fertilize it, it becomes very big. But the nutrition value of the bigger tomato is not increased. It is exactly the same as the earlier one. So this is called incentive. So when you have the initiative to work, you are enthusiastic and cheerful. When it is a selfish motive, there is tiredness, it is burdensome. Oh, why I should only do? Why can't he do it? These are burden. In the initiative, there is a spirit of service involved. What can I do to the company? See, everybody asks us, how you guys are surviving? First question, anybody meets us. Nobody asks how you are evolving, how much you evolved. Everybody says, how do you survive? To which our answer is, this is the logic. You go and work for a company. You are investing your actions for the company. What does the company do? It takes care of you, isn't it? It gives you the salary, it gives you benefits, everything. If you're working for the whole world, why will the world not take care of you? But it's a conviction. But if I go and work thinking that way, that if I work for the world will take care of, I'll not get it. I have to just be in that spirit of service. What can I give? So therefore, we are not bothered about our survival. If it happens, it happens. But no, nothing will happen. Survive, no problem. So this is what. So therefore, when you have a spirit of service and sacrifice, you will be taken care of. This is the attitude you should have. So the same thing can blend in the work itself. Otherwise, it's personal reward. What am I getting? What am I getting? See, when you go and meet somebody, there is 2 attitudes you can carry. What can I get out of this person? Or how I can serve this person? It all remains the same. Exactly. Just that this change of attitude makes the world, it's a difference, a world of difference. So when I had my own business, so before I joined the academy, I was doing recruiting. Because I was attending Vedanta classes at the time, I practiced these principles at work and I found it really working. That's when I joined Vedanta, full-time course. So when I go to meet the client, my attitude was, how can I best serve this person? When I go and meet the candidate, because I was into recruiting, how can I best serve this person? The monetary benefits, everything is incidental. It will come. It's a byproduct of an action. You don't have to bother about it. We are so much bothered about the byproduct. We are not bothered about the execution of action. That's called the spirit of service. So like Arjun said, it's a long-term benefit. When you are initiative, until the end of your age, you'll enjoy your work. But if it is incentive, you'll enjoy only until you get the package. Then you lose it short term. So naturally in this, you will be peace and harmonious because you want to serve. But when there is selfishness, there will be discontentment. Why that fellow got a raise? It's so interesting. We are going to Ananda Spa from next week onwards. You will be seeing me in Ananda Spa, from Ananda Spa, sir, because for you to see. So in Ananda Spa, I was giving this talk about initiative. So there's a guy who's the vice president of one of the multinational banks in Germany, Switzerland. I think Credit Suisse or something. He came and told me that, it works. It works. I said, what happened? It works. So they were a team of people. Because of his performance, he got the highest perks, the incentive in the group. He got that because of his performance. But then one more guy who was always very competitive in his team thought that he didn't get a good deal. So he came and said, "Hey, you're getting this and everything, so much." So this guy, honestly, he went to his boss and told him, "See, he looks like he needs it more than me." So he said, "Give my whatever you are supposed to give it to me, give it to him. I don't want it. I'm willing to forego this. Then the team will have a good thing." No, he told him and he came away. After 3 weeks, the boss calls him and says, "We have given your incentive to the other fellow." He said, "I'm very happy that you gave it to him." He said, "But you should understand, because you took the stance, I fought with the management, I've got you also the incentive." He said, "I didn't want, I got it." This is called spirit of service. And this is the guy who's practicing, who's in the Credit Suisse bank, is heading the bank. So therefore, he was peaceful. He was only saying that fellow is so agitated, let him have mine. It doesn't matter. Let him have that. He also got it. But if you think you'll get it by that, you will not get it. But this is a service and sacrifice. Therefore, you will be able to work optimum because your mind is not disturbed when you have initiated. In incentive, there's loss of productivity because the moment there's no money, I will not do. That's what you will think. I'll just conclude with one research that Academy of Sciences USA has done. It says they researched on motives of organizations and what is more effective, and internal motivation and instrumental motivation. Means instrumental means you give something for them to work, initiate, incentive, or both initiative and incentive. What is conducive to success? So then they found the people with have strong internal motives, initiated to work, succeeded more than those even with a combination. That's what he's saying. Helping people focus on the meaning and impact of their work rather than say the financial returns it will bring may be the best way to improve not only the quality of their work, but also, counterintuitive it may seem, their financial success also. So if it's possible to internally motivate, then it works. Now, like everybody said, you can't give up incentives because the world is running by that. But as you develop the initiative at work, then people may not look for incentives. But you may still give it. It's okay. It's a different thing. You're sharing your profits and everything. What's wrong? So you develop the initiative to work by working unselfishly. So these are all research given. We know it, but we are giving credence to that to say this is what it is. Any questions?
I have some, please.
Yes, sure.
So actually, I think what the quote said is really good, because I was also thinking while you were talking, like if one is always relying on incentives, no matter how much ever incentive you give them, there's always that desire that if I move, there might be more, right? So you're constantly thinking. Now, feel free not to answer this question, but coming back to two things that you mentioned today, and it's some of the jigsaw puzzle pieces that I'd love to put together. You said you are in this line, you must fulfill your obligations, right? You can't, even though we have this knowledge, we still need to do what we have to do. Second, you kindly mentioned how can I best serve somebody else? So what do we do as individuals who are caught? As in, we have obligations, we've got family, but we also have this knowledge, and we kind of know that, that fear, that anxiety that we're all going through is not real, it's an illusion. But what words of wisdom or what churning can we do internally to have that absolute conviction in us? Because right now, the way I look at it is we're crossing the bridge. We need to let go of our hands and we need to just walk the bridge. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
we're so scared and we're just holding on. So yeah, just those couple of things put together.
Yeah. So understand this, that you don't have to take that step. Your focus should only be to gain more and more understanding of what is given in the scripture. So what happens is scripture gives a very high frequency of thought. So you have to keep to this thought. As you start understanding it, slowly your worry and anxiety will come down by itself. You don't have to put an effort to do anything. And when there is fear, what happens? Immediately this thought comes, because you're studying the scriptures every day, right? Scripture says I should not fear. Why am I fearing? So then you apply those ideas, right? Now understand, I have an obligation. Whatever I know, I have got into this commitment, I can't give it up. So therefore, Vedanta only gives a different perspective. So this is not all. My life is beyond my children. Once they grow, what happens to me? So therefore, you are equipping yourself to be with knowledge to be able to handle or move the life smoothly, even if they are not there tomorrow, isn't it? So this perspective comes only because of the scriptures. Number one. Number two, you can't, as you understand so much more, it will make a difference in your life. But if you say, oh, is it making a difference? Is it making a difference? That result orientation stops you from gaining wisdom. That also is there. So you have to just be at it, right? So as you're at it, you will find after some time that you become more mature in your dealings. You have less fear, you're less anxious. All these things are there. So then why is so much of higher thoughts given? Because this much has to be given for us to get an to shake us up, to say, oh my God, they're saying it's an illusion and I'm so involved in this. Only for that, to give you the jerk in the understanding, they're giving it. But it's not possible to practice it because we are not at that level to practice it. But you will get to that level. Everybody can move to that level. There's no problem because everybody is heir to that. Nobody is not there. So therefore, until that, what you do your study. Now start practicing this. Whenever I'm going somewhere, I need to see how I can serve somebody. When I'm going to my teaching, how do I serve? When I'm in the family, how do I serve? I don't serve them because it is my family. I serve them because that is my duty to serve, irrespective of what they do to me, right? Now, understand this. When you're serving this way, that doesn't mean that you become a doormat, that everybody step over you and abuse you. You know when to stop and when to do it. When you think that by your service, the other person is becoming dependent, you cut it off at that point of time, because then it is not good for the other person. That's called service, right? I want serve means to be beneficial to the other person. So you practice these things, slowly it will change. Your life will change for the better. So morning study, which will enable you to keep to the higher thoughts. During the day, practicing this attitude of service. Then what will happen again when you study in the morning, you will get more of it, because during the day also you're practicing these values, right? So then it gives you more fillip in the morning. So this is a cycle with which you grow. That's the way to do it. All that I'm saying is, physical body, when the child was very, very small, the muscles were moving around because of our own things. So muscles got developed, right? The emotions took some time to develop, our emotions. The gross intellect to earn a living in the world, we spent 16 years, right? Now we are talking about spiritual development, which is subtlest. It's going to take time. So you have to be patient. That's all. Yeah. Is it okay?
So,
You have any clarifications?
yeah, in a nutshell, it's we carry on doing our personal best and let everything else evolve by itself when the time is right.
Correct, correct. That's what will happen. That's the practical way of doing it. You can't cut off anything.
Mm.
That's the way to do it. And most important is feeding your intellect with this frequency of thoughts, which we are anyway doing because you're doing the e-learning, you're listening to Swami. That is already happening. So there's no problem. You're already feeding your. So you should feed your intellect with higher thoughts. That's the most important thing. Then follow it with what you say. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, we'll conclude here.
Hari Om Swami.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
You-
Thank you.